Check, check. Most High in Christ. Shalom. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua Barakatah. To my brothers, Yahweh Shemal Athah Bahashim Yahushua, my sisters. I'm priest and officer Ban Kayal of 1,000 out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. And this is the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA, man. If you're not in the I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General YAHANNA, you are not in the truth. It would behoove you to get into an I.S.U.P.K. classroom wherever you are, anywhere in the world, man. You know, this is the information age, information era. We got the World Wide Web. A couple keystrokes, you can have a repository of information at your fingertips, man. There's no reason for you to live in falsehood or live in darkness or to not know, you know, the answers to the complexities of life, man. Living on this earth is a very simple thing if you Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, man. And the priests and prophets in the I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General YAHANNA, we're here to encourage you, to inspire you, to uplift you, to serve the Lord. We've been in the church for over, 400-something odd years, man. Stuck in the church. Not, our position hasn't progressed at all. You know, if anything, we are in quicksand. We're in quicksand. We're sinking slowly and just getting deeper and deeper and deeper until we're imminently doomed, man. You know, being joined to America, being joined to Christianity, being joined to Islam, being joined to any other false ideology is the reason why we're destroyed as a nation of people, man. When you're looking at the conditions of so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, oh, they're quite similar. Our suffering is similar. You know, the things that the Hispanics go through, so-called Negroes go through. The things that the Negroes go through, Native Indians go through. Right. We're talking about things that plague our communities. We can go into substance abuse. We can go into abject poverty. We can go into the dysfunction, the generational dysfunction that's plagued our family life, man, our family structures. You know, reflect upon your life and your mother's or your father's life, if you got a mother or a father, and then think about their parents, your grandparents, and their lives. You know, were they living in the lap of luxury? Did they live lives of promise, or did they live lives that were full of oppression? Right. Was their oppression reflective of the suffering that you endure today in 2022? 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. I mean, what has really changed for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? So tonight, in typical UPK fashion, we are going over the law. This is the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, Biblical Law class, man. And with the Spirit of the Lord, you know, we're going to get into these scriptures and be able to encourage you, man, educate you, edify you, as they would say. Captain Cousins, I hate that word, edification, you know, but our people need to be edified. We need to be educated because we have been miseducated here in America, man. And the miseducation starts early. It starts when you are young. You know, you fresh out the womb. And, you know, Lord be with my brother, man. You know, he would always talk about how, you know, you'll feed pork to an infant. You know, the ham hocks us in the green, something as simple as that, you know, are the reason why we're destroyed. And it's a perpetual thing. You know, you're not giving the good things to the youth. So you grow up in a system that is literally designed for you to fail. You know, nobody is doing that hard thing and making the decision to do thus saith the Lord. You rather do thus saith T.D. Jakes or thus saith Creflo Dollar, or thus saith Shirley Caesar, or Juanita Bynum, you know, and all these people, you have to understand, have been propped up to teach you a way that is not reflective of following Christ in the Bible, man. They don't follow the example that Yahweh Shamashiach laid down. He laid it down simple and plain. You know, there is no confusing the things that Christ did while he was on this earth as a man. There's no confusing those things. But because we have the Christian church, because we have, you know, these prosperity pastors that are absolute They're pimping our people, man. They're treating us like we're prostitutes, man. Taking our money and treating us any kind of way, giving us some line, man. We get a song and a dance, you know, and we get prostituted to the other nations. We get prostituted to the enemy, to our oppressors, man. You know, we're going to get into it today, man. Let's go to John 8:32, man. Baba Kushar. John 8:32. Yeah, I made sure that it was in there. It's in there. Okay. When you set it up. Okay. The book of John, chapter 8, verse 32. Baba Kushar.
Trying to make sure brothers and sisters on Facebook.
Most High in Christ.
You know what I'm saying? We good to go.
Most High in Christ. We're going into the biblical law, you know, because the law, you got to understand something about the law. The law is what gives you your identity. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, you shouldn't go through life guessing. You shouldn't go through life anymore wondering, you know, who you are, what you are, where you come from. You know, that's something that always plagued, you know, my mind and my thoughts, you know, is who am I? Where did I come from? What tribe was I from if I'm a so-called African? Brothers got to understand that if you are a so-called Negro living in America, you are not an African, okay? You got to understand that was a total separate, different group of people, man. I mean, since the flood, post the antediluvian period, man. You know, we're talking about Noah and his sons, Japheth, Shem, and Ham. Those are the Africans, Ham, okay? He's the progenitor of the father of the dark races, not the Negroes, according to what the Zondervan says, okay? And that's actual fact, because in 70 AD, when Jerusalem fell, what did we do? We fled. Like any other group of people would flee when their kingdom falls, when their nation state falls. They flee and they become political refugees seeking asylum. And that's what you did. That's what our forefathers did. If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian,
right?
We fled into Israel. Some of us fled to the north. Some of us fled to the south. Some of us, we were escaping. I mean, which way do you run when you are seeking to be saved, man? You're seeking respite from things that are intended to destroy you. Which way would you run? I know here we got contingency plans. We got an emergency evacuation plan. We know 4 different points, which is depending upon where the threat is coming from, where we're going to flee. But in the Christian church, you don't have that. You might have, you know, I highly doubt your pastor is drilling you, you know, because those churches are getting shot up. You probably have some sort of emergency preparedness plan in case of an active shooter, you know. But that's post what? Dylan Storm Roof. He ain't the first one to shoot up a church, though. You know what I'm saying? You ain't shooting up no I.S.U.P.K, no school, because you get frisked at the door. All right. And we don't allow heathens in here anyway. But that's another conversation. No, Salakia. Let's talk about them heathens. That's how we ended up in Africa. Okay. So for you to believe that you are an African American is a misnomer, man. They named you after 2 heathens, Amerigo Vespucci and Leo Scipio Africanus, man. 2 very, very old, ancient heathens. Okay. That's not reflective of who you are, who our ancestors are. If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, our generational lineage, our heritage is Abraham, Isaac, specifically Jacob. All right. Those are our forefathers. And it will behoove you to do what our forefathers did, which is what made them special in the sight of the Lord, man. And we're talking about the laws tonight. So if you can, brother, John 8:32.
This is the book of John, chapter 8, verse 32.
Right.
And ye shall know the truth.
And Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians shall know a lie.
The truth.
Shall know a falsehood.
The truth.
Shall know mythology.
The truth.
Shall know folklore.
And ye shall know the truth.
No, you shall know the Constitution.
The truth.
The Bible says you shall know the truth, man. And the thing about the truth is absolute. The truth is reality. You step outside and it's raining, you're going to get wet. That is a true, you can believe that. You can put money on that, all right? But if you step outside and you got an umbrella, you can safeguard yourself against the rain. You can safeguard yourself against the elements, okay? And that's what these laws, statutes, commandments do for so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It gives us a layer of protection. It gives us parameters. It gives us, it gives us a position of safety, man, a barrier. It keeps, evil and wickedness on the outside. You're not going to be protected unless you're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. John said to do what?
And ye shall know the truth.
You shall know the truth.
And the truth shall make you free.
And the truth is, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are not free in America because we don't know the truth. We don't know who we are as a nation of people. Our identity is caught up in absolute lies, man, and folklore. We believe in the mythology and just the false ideologies of heathens, man. People that have no real history with regard to the Most High Power, safeguarding them, protecting them, guiding them, providing for them, man. It's a very sick and disgusting thing what has happened to God's chosen people. We have to deal with identity theft. We got people that are walking planet Earth right now who are claiming to be the Jews of this Bible that are not.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, the book of Revelation talks about them, describes them as the synagogue of Satan. And I can believe that. So you think about Satan, they are the living personification of Satan. Everything that they do, everything that they promote, the things that they put their hand to, are the things that keep us destroyed and in this, low position, man. I see my people on so many different venues. We strive to be like the enemy. We strive to be like the heathen nations around us, man. We're just like America. We are native sons and daughters born here in America, man, held captive here in America.
Right.
You got to understand that this is not your rest if you Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. You cannot spend all of your time in recreation. You cannot spend all of your time in La La Land. Right. And that's what happens when we're joined to America, when we believe in what America pushes on our people, man. The things that you get taught in elementary school. You got to think about it, man. The holiday season, or the so-called holiday season, is upon us, man. So your kids right now, they're getting indoctrinated if they're in Esau schools. They're getting indoctrinated. They're coming home with all sorts of projects about what's coming up. Halloween.
Right.
So you're going to learn everything about a jack-o'-lantern. You're going to learn about witches and monsters and Frankenstein and all this garbage. They're filling your kids' minds with garbage.
That's right.
Nothing that's going to be beneficial to their progression or their maturation over time. Because think about it. What has Halloween done for you? How has it added value to your life as a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian?
Right.
How? It might be painted up or dressed up to look like something fun to do, but it hasn't fixed any of the conditions of our reality, which is hell. All right. So read that one more time for me, Baba Kusha.
The book of John, chapter 8, verse 32.
Right.
And ye shall know the truth.
Ye shall know the truth.
And the truth shall make you free.
And the truth shall make you free. Here in the I.S.U.P.K, under Commanding General YAHANNA, we teach the truth about the Bible, the whole truth about the Bible. You're not getting half truths like you'll get if you go to the Christian church. Right. You're not getting a piece of the truth. You're getting the whole truth. We read out of the 1611 KJV, which has the hidden books, man. The Apocrypha's in there. You don't even really understand the New Testament because you don't even embrace the Old in the Christian church. They promote this idea of salvation being, open to everyone. And my question is, who needs to be saved more than Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians?
Right.
Who? Because I watched, what's her name? Jamie Lee Jamie Lee Curtis. Where's Snoop when you know? Funky dog head, female dog. Can't stand her, man. She is an opportunistic parasite of an oppressor. Not only does she want to demonize my brother, Kanye West, granted, yeah, he's off track with respect to a lot of his movements because he's not in here, okay? But a lot of that energy is just mischanneled. He doesn't understand. I think he's been watching some of our classes, to be honest with you. Yeah. He's watching somebody. He's watching somebody to know that so-called black people are the Jews of the Bible, man. To know that. You're not getting taught that in the Christian church. Right. And he professes to be a Christian. We separate ourselves from that false ideology of Christianity, which represents white supremacy, man. You have to understand that as a black man. The Christian church promotes a very effeminate, emasculating spirit, and it permeates every Christian church, right. Every last one of them. I don't care if you deem to be yourself a Protestant, you can be a Baptist, Southern Baptist, AME Zion, Pentecostal, a Jehovah's Witness, anything that you try to align yourself with as a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian within that church is going to destroy you. Right. All right. You have to come get in all black, sit down and close your mouth and learn at the feet of the prophets, man. We are not giving you a lie. We're teaching the truth. We go into these scriptures and we bust them down so that you can understand them, man. We're not tone deaf in here. If anything, we're brainwashed. We're brainwashed to believe the truth. We're brainwashed to actually believe that the things that Christ prophesied about, the things that Christ taught, we apply them to our lives in real time. When we look at this Bible, man, it's not a book of fantasy. This isn't things that happen in this book are very fantastic, but don't align them with them being fantasy like, you know, your J.R. Tolkien or your J.K. Rowling, you know, or any of those authors that write about fantasy. The Bible is a real book. It's a living book. It's the living record of so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. And if you want to fix your condition, if you want to fix your life, it would behoove you to get in class and learn so you can learn the truth. All right? That's right. Let's do Proverbs 3:31.
Kawakan. This the book. This is the book of Proverbs.
Right.
Chapter 3 and verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
Envy thou not the oppressor. No, Salaki, brother. You know, you got to think about the spirit of envying. You know, the spirit of envying, wanting something, looking at someone and wanting whatever it is that they have. Okay. The beauty about being Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian is that the Bible says that we're the salt of the earth. Right. The Bible says that, you know, you have a light. You got a gift, man. You have your own individual independent gift, okay? And it's up to you to learn what that gift is and to cultivate that gift, whether you be a brother or a sister, man. There's something very special about being a part of this bloodline, all right? There's something very special about it, and it's something that keeps us separate from the other nations. All right. Us being the salt of the earth is, man, damn. We're the ones that bring flavor to this human experience. Right. We are literally the Goya Sazon on the shelf, man. Right. That's who we are compared to just regular old what? I don't even know. You know, our person don't really use spices and seasonings. You know what I'm saying? They don't. Right. You ever watch them season chicken? You know, you can watch, you know, I like to watch the cooking shows on YouTube, on the Food Network or whatever. Right. And you never see them season chicken the way that we do. And we put seasoning in the flour, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's in the breading. It's in the yeah, we put it in the brine too, man. That's who we are, man. the salt of the earth. But the Bible says to envy thou not the oppressor. It's obvious who our oppressor is. Who's been oppressing us since we've been in this place? Who? It's the same for every black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. You know, people want to talk about black on black crime, but the only reason why black on black crime exists is because of the oppressor's crimes against us. Right. All right. So envying the oppressor, man, you got to think about what the oppressor has and why is it that you want what he has. And then understand that the only reason why he has what he has is through criminal enterprise, man. That's it. We are dealing with a career criminal, generation of criminals, man. And these people, you know, their MO or their modus operandi is rape, robbery, and murder. Rape, robbery, and murder. You know, wherever you see those three things, generally, you will find an oppressor, man. All right. So what is there to envy about a rapist? What is there to envy about a thief? Everybody hates a thief. What is honorable about thievery? You think about America and how America was stolen from the Native Indian, man. You think about the crimes that were perpetrated against the Native Indian. It talked about 77 million Native Indians were slaughtered, man. Died at the hands of this oppressor, man. Right. We don't even want to talk. 99 million of the so-called Negroes, man, so-called Hispanics that were brought over here, you know, on those Spanish galleons, you know, those cargo slave ships. 99 million died along the way across the Middle Passage, man. My brother Mahayar was talking about it at camp this past weekend. How the trade routes that the ships took during the transatlantic slave trade, the composition of the ocean, the ocean floor, you know, it talks about how sharks still follow the cargo ships today, looking for a meal, because so many over time, over the course of centuries, all right, centuries, that is a crazy astronomical number there. When we're talking about oppression, when we're talking about us being brought into captivity, centuries, that's 100 years. It wasn't just 100 years. We're talking about over 400 years, man, of us being oppressed, of us being put in chains, of us being forced onto these ports, onto these slave ships, man. Have you ever been on a ship? If you black, Hispanic, Native Indian, you ever been seasick? I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine having to be on the ocean for months just to get here, let alone in those conditions. That's the one. Let alone in those conditions, being shackled ankle to ankle, man, wrist to wrist. Talking about being overexposed, you know, you were naked generally. If you were a slave at that point in time, you were naked. You didn't have on the appropriate clothing or appropriate attire, man. And that's always been a common practice of our people, you know, being honorable to that extent. We learned being naked and disgusting from the heathens, man. Those Africans to this day, to this very day, they dress that way. Okay. The only reason why so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians do that is because we've envied the oppressor. All right. And we've chosen all of the ways of the oppressor. We've chosen every way except for the way. We've chosen every way except for God's way, man. The way of the most high power, Yahweh. He has his own separate way because he is the only God, man. There is no life to these other gods that we pay so much attention to and give so much of our energy and our love to, man. If you can read that one more time, brother. We in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 31.
Right.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
Right.
And choose none of his ways.
And choose none of his ways. And you think about black culture today, and it was taught to us. Everything that we emulate, everything that we put into practice as as being our heritage, it was taught to us. All the holidays that we embrace, they were taught to us at the hands, well, I'll just say at the feet of the oppressor, man. We were forced to celebrate Christmas. We were forced to accept Sunday as the Lord's day of worship. Just like we were forced to work in the cotton fields and to work in the sugar plantations, man, and to work in the tobacco fields, cultivating, his agriculture, man. It's ridiculous.
Like brother said, we did rice as well, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like we did rice as well as all these inventions. You
Carolina Red,
right? They entertainment. You know, we was fighting. Like, where you think boxing come from? You understand? Like they had fighters. You understand? They had the inventors, all that, and we was in all these things, man. We had our hand in some of everything.
Right. You absolutely right. Get that brother a hand, man. You talking about boxing, man. The so-called oppressor, he just really capitalizes off of, wanting to insert dysfunction into every facet of our existence, man. And we're very familiar with boxing. My brother Kowal and I, our family, brother Quatazar, what I'm saying? We know our way around the ring, what I'm saying? But that's another conversation. It's just a sad thing to pit two brothers against one another and put a person between them when you have withheld resources necessary and essential to their survival. Yeah, two brothers will fight if you starve them to death. Two brothers will fight if they don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. You don't allow them to be able to have adequate shelter. They don't have the money to provide for their families, for their children, for their wives, for their mothers. It's so crazy. Why is it that every Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian athlete, when they make it big, what's the first thing they say they want to do for their mama? They want to do what now?
Salakia, buy mama a house.
Why is that? Why is that? That's a damn shame, man. When we talk about our suffering, there's a real correlation, and it's by design. It's by design. There's no reason for me to want to have to buy my mother a house. She should have a house. As long as she's been on this earth, she should have a home. But because they withhold access to housing, affordable housing, they make you pay double. Well, Rick Ross was like, and it's so white that they're gonna charge you double. That's what he said. And there's so much truth to that. Go ahead, brother.
It's like it. And then they tell you that you can't have a husband, or tell you can't have a man in that housing.
You're talking about like with the Section 8, right? What was that movie? Oh man, where they had the I forget the name of the movie, but it showed a real depiction of a Black sister and her children. Yeah. And the brother was hiding behind the door. When the agent came in the room, you gotta hide. A brother that lived out of a damn garbage bag, man. He couldn't have his clothes hung up in the closet. He had to have his clothes in garbage bags, man. Because any given time, then people come out there and want to see. They're gonna look in that closet. If you see a size 13 in there, who been staying here? Who been staying here? You breaking the terms of your lease. Now we're gonna put you out on the street. We can't envy the oppressor, man. We have to stop choosing the ways of the oppressor. You don't really understand. It's a very fearful thing if you put all your heart and soul, all the energy that you have into fearing America, into believing in the Constitution, into believing in the Bill of Rights. And those laws have never protected us. That's a facade, man. That's a very fake thing. That's a pipe dream. If you Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, and you think that the oppressor is going to change the way he feels about you, you think he's going to change the laws of his kingdom to appease you? He's going to roll out the red carpet for you, a slave? when he thinks that he is God, give me a break, man. Go ahead, Officer Ayathon. I know you got it, brother.
So like, what's so heavy about what you're saying? Like on the way over here, I was thinking about how crazy it is. You know, I went around that little roundabout over there, and you know, it still got the Black Lives Matter thing down there. So I was thinking about how crazy it is that we have to tell them that our lives matter, but they'll tell you not to kill the bees because the bees are almost extinct.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like the animals' lives matter more than black lives, and it's so crazy that we think that it does something to them for us to tell them that our lives matter, man. You understand? Like that's how destroyed we are, man.
You damn right. They don't give a darn about black lives, man. They've never cared about black lives. Never. We have been dehumanized in America, man. I mean, beneath cattle. That's why they called it chattel slavery. All right. So they not only did they look at you as subhuman, beneath the level or the stature of a human being, the status of a human being, they equated you to livestock. They even fed you like livestock. So, like Officer Zion, go ahead, sir.
So, like, if I may, I was about to say that when they say, you know, Black Lives Matter, in actuality, Black lives does matter to them, though. See, because when you think about that restaurant that's making all that money for their family, they know that John is the one in there cooking that chicken. Maria in there cooking that Dobo chicken. You understand? They understand those restaurants that we all go in. They understand that those factories that we work in, that assembly line. You know what I'm saying? Those are our people that in there working. See, it does. They know that Black Lives Matter, but to the extent of how we know that Black Lives Matter, meaning understanding the value of how we want them to look at us. You understand? The value of us is working for them. So they know that Black Lives Matter. The reason why we say Black Lives Matter is because they don't understand how we look at each other. And that's what we know. Like you, Black lives should matter because you look at us as nothing more than criminals. Black lives should matter because you look at us no more like we're just football players or just basketball players. We're more than just drug dealers and strippers and things like that. So that's when people say when we're saying Black Lives Matter, that's the fundamental thing that our people are saying. Like we're more than just your working class, or more or less. But they know that Black Lives Matter. The problem is we want them to see, as a nation of people, we're more than just your working class force. And the problem is they don't see us nothing more than what we are. And that is the permanent underclass here in America. So that's that thing. Most High in Christ.
No, damn right. Give that brother a hand. Give that Ottawa a hand. Salaki. Give you the proper respect. Is it blessing? Shout out to my sister, man. My sister Dulcie, man. It's smelling real fragrant in here. Oh Salakia. Who is that? Sister Yakarab, man. My brother Ayathon's rib, man. Good night. It smell like Mexico in here, bro. Most High in Christ. Shout out to Issachar. You know what I'm saying? What y'all got over there? Lord have mercy. Hey, put me some to the side, brother. Hey, don't y'all eat it all up from me now. Lord be with you, man. All right. If you can, brother, drop that. Let's go to Deuteronomy 30 and 15. And what I brought out, what I want to bring out tonight, which is very, very important. We talk about the laws and how the laws basically give us a separate identity from the rest of the earth, man. And it took me coming in here to realize that, because when you're in the Christian church, they only give you the 10 commandments, and they don't even understand those, they debase the 10 commandments. You learn there's over 613 laws in the Bible, man. And it's a very beautiful thing when you take those laws and you apply them to your life. Right. The Bible talks about worshiping the Lord in spirit and in truth. All right. So that's what happens when you practically apply the laws, statutes, and commandments to your everyday living. you know, I always like to hearken upon, you know, what I do for slavery, man. You know, in the I.S.U.P.K, we teach daily life living skills to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
That's right.
Because we're not being taught those things that will suffice us to live in America. So you might as well, you know, do that other thing. All right. And keeping God's laws, man.
Right.
All right. So if we go to Deuteronomy 30 and 15, hold that. But I wanted to compare, you know, the Constitution that your pastor wants you to believe in, you know, the Constitution that our oppressor props up before you as it being something that's beneficial, as it being the means as to you gaining the prosperity that they say this land has to offer to everyone. All right. And now I'm not telling you to disregard the laws of the land. All right. I'm not advocating for that, because not only do we keep the laws of the land, we level it up. We keep the laws of God, man. Right. All right. So I got an article, that tab for the amendments. I want to pull those up, and what we're going to do is just do some comparing and contrasting. All right. This is class, so I know y'all brothers is just tearing up the pollo con arroz right now. You know what I'm saying? The pollo con arroz. Yeah, Most High in Christ. Yeah, there we go. You know, we're talking about the Bill of Rights. And the Bill of Rights, essentially, if you can you read that for him, brother? I ain't no lawyer.
The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. It spells out Americans' rights in relation to their government.
It spells out whose rights?
Their right, Americans' rights.
Americans' rights. So it's very, very, you got to pay attention to, we talk about reading comprehension. You get graded on that in grade school, you know, and they make a determination about your aptitude or your intellectual ability based off of, you know, you being able to comprehend the things that you read. And there's blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, because we have to learn a tongue that our fathers never knew. It's a real challenge for us. All right. So when you see terms like American, that's a dog whistle term. When you think of the Americans, originally, when this Constitution was drafted, who did that embody? Who did that represent? Did it represent Pookie and Ray Ray? Did it represent Esteban and Benriquez? Did it?
Right.
Did it represent Geronimo? Right. And Chief Red Cloud? Did it represent them? Because they weren't deemed American, right, according to what, you know, the example of what an American is at the time when this was drafted. Read that. Keep reading.
Khan. It guarantees civil rights and liberties to the individual, like freedom of speech.
But you got to be American, though.
Right. Like freedom of speech, press, and religion.
So it talks about Americans. So when you see that term American, that excludes you, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child. You got to understand that your Constitution is right here in this Bible. All right. Your Constitution is not the one that was drafted back in the 1700s. All right. That Constitution is for the original Americans. All right. When you think about Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and Benjamin Franklin and John Adams and John Hancock and all those bastards, right, you know, that had a hand in drafting this document, it was for them. It was not for you.
Right.
And nothing has changed. We're in what, the 21st century now. Mm-hmm. It's what, 2022. This was written back in what, 1770, what, 1776?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
This document means nothing to you.
That's right.
If you're a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian man, woman, or child. It don't mean anything to you. So for you to put your hopes, all of your belief in this, you're a fool. You're an absolute fool. All right. You don't have anything to lose outside of your life. Right. All right. It would behoove you to learn to keep the laws of God, man. Right. Your pastor is not teaching you to even keep the laws of God, but he wants you to go stand in some damn line to vote.
Right.
To uphold the oppressor's constitution.
That's
All right? Go ahead, Officer Ayathan Salakia.
It's a like if I may,
Salakia.
that totally contradicts itself, because like it says that you have the freedom of religion.
Mhm.
Well, we know as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in the truth that you don't have the freedom of religion.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? Like we see it day in and day out. With brothers like Deshaun Jackson, Nick Cannon, who was the recent one? Kanye West.
Yeezy.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As soon as you say you the Israelites, oh now that's a total game changer right there. You understand what I'm saying? Like, as long as you Christian or whatever the hell they tell you to be, you do have the freedom of religion, as long as it's what they tell you it is.
Right. Right.
But once you go and start digging in these scriptures and finding out what God say you are, if you start saying I'm that, now we got a problem.
No, you're absolutely right, brother. Get that brother a hand. You're absolutely right. Give me the book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Let's go there. Before we start digging into these amendments and seeing what true civil liberties you have in this place called America, man. And you can see it every day that these civil liberties, these rights that the Bill of Rights profess that you have are infringed upon, man. I'm gonna have you reflect upon your life, man, and you'll be able to make a determination if your rights as a citizen of America have been infringed upon.
Right.
All right. Go ahead, brother Baba Kusha.
Book of Colossians, chapter 2, and verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Beware. Be aware. That's all that word means. Be aware. Focus. I need everybody to focus. Pay attention. Focus. Unless any man does what?
Spoil you.
What does it mean to be spoiled? What does it mean to be spoiled? Because, we're taught that that's a good thing. You want your grandparents to spoil the babies, and then when you get them back from them spending a weekend with grandma and granddaddy, you can't stand them.
That's right.
To be spoiled just means to be destroyed, man. You ever had some spoiled milk? I bet you spit it out. You know what I'm saying? You was mad at who left it in there. You looking for the expiration date. Go ahead, brother.
So like I got spoil.
Most High in Christ.
Dictionary, spoil, to damage seriously, ruin, to impair the quality or effect of.
To damage seriously. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have been damaged seriously, man, through the philosophy and vain deceit of the oppressor, man.
Right.
We call the oppressor the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
Why do we call him the devil that the Bible speaks of? Because he's a liar.
That's right.
That's what the word deceit means, man.
Mhm.
He's deceitful in any manner in which he deals with you, from your boss on your job to the owner of the plantation, man, to the president. All of them are deceitful bastards, and they've always dealt treacherously with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. And we've been destroyed because we believe the lies that they tell us. We got to stop giving our love and attention to the oppressor, man. We do have enemies, according to what the Bible says. You can go in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the 68th verse, and it outlines who our enemies are. If you're a so-called Negro, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native Indian, and you don't have to really be talking about anything, but you walk into a room and it's you and another Native Indian, or you or another Hispanic, or you and another Negro, and y'all already on that type of time. You in that spirit, you're looking for, the opportunities to present the racism or the bias, the prejudicial bias that we have to deal with every day, man. It's a damn shame. Why isn't your pastor talking about this?
Right.
Why isn't he letting you know that you are God's chosen people, man? Why isn't he letting you know that you're the only royalty that ever walked the face of the earth?
That's right.
Why is he not teaching you that? Because he's been spoiled through philosophy and vain deceit, man.
Right.
Through the philosophy of what? This Constitution, these Bill of Rights. Is this still, you still sharing it? Yeah, just keep it up, Baba Kushar. Because we're just going to scroll down. Keep reading on that verse if you can, brother.
Come on.
Y'all ain't here grubbing. I'm going to do a better job of being observant. I'll catch you in between chews. Good.
Through philosophy and vain deceit.
What is Salakia? Let's talk about, give me the definition of philosophy. Brother Cheeks full in here. You know what I'm saying? I'm hating. I'm going to have you read as much as possible. Because I'm a hater. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I love my brothers, man. It's a beautiful thing for you to be able to gather together, you know? The scriptures say to gather together, right? Go ahead.
Philosophy, the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, especially when considered as an academic discipline.
Wow. I hated philosophy in college. I could not wrap my head around that whole course, you know, and they got these bastards that are on LSD, you know, doing all these case studies and letting you know what their theorems are about life and existence. Is ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. If you really want to know real philosophy, the truth about reality, all you got to do is come into one of these classrooms, because that's real. A brother that walks the earth with braids in 2022, there's something real about that, man. A brother that has gold teeth in the year 2022, man. He's wearing boots. Everybody else wearing skinny jeans, man. It's a damn shame. You know, we talk about philosophy. What are some of the philosophies that we learn here? In the holiday system, you learn to worship other gods, man. You learn to worship other gods when you celebrate the holidays, all American or U.S. holidays. You can't even avoid them because they give you alerts on your phone. Go ahead, Officer Zion.
I was about to say the philosophies of this empire makes you question the absolute. Man, woman. The philosophy of this earth said, well, you know, gender role can, you know, gender to define the gender can't be done at birth. You know, that's philosophy. You know what I'm saying? The philosophy of, you know, it allows you to elude absolute truth and live in this dream world. But the thing is, then you get punished by this dream world. You understand?
Right.
So the philosophy, man, you know, we just another plant in the earth. But that's not what that is. It is a plant.
Right.
But tell the truth about it. It has medicinal purposes. But outside of medicinal purposes, it can be used for a drug to put you in a psychedelic state, which is harmful to the mind, body, and spirit. But they'll tell you philosophy will have you free your mind, Craig. You know what I'm saying?
Free your mind.
Yeah. The philosophy of this world allows us to elude the truth, man. You understand? Like Christ was a black man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's right. A very black man, if I may. You know what I'm saying? As if he's burning the furnace. That is absolute. We're dealing with abstract form of the truth. Philosophy is all hazy. It's whatever you feel for today.
Right.
So much so that they have different bathrooms now that they have you know, what they call it, gender neutral bathroom, whatever.
Unisex.
Yeah, unisex bathroom. Where it's whatever you feeling like today, you can use that restroom. You understand? Those things are the philosophy of this world. And because Black, Hispanics, Native Indians fall into those things in this empire, we suffer because of that. And we need absolute. We talk in riddles, but we need absolute. You know what I mean?
Facts. Because our life is real.
Right.
You know, the conditions that we live in on this earth are real. Right. You know, we talk about hunger. That really struck a nerve with me when you were starting explaining hunger on the podium one day. And I said, damn, that's heavy. Because that's real. When your stomach get to touching, let alone your children's stomach get to touching. It's one thing for you to be hungry, but it's a whole nother thing when you don't have the means to provide for those babies that you made. And they hungry. And they looking at you like, do your job. You know what I'm saying? Why am I here? They're questioning their own existence because of the oppression of our enemy. You waiting until, you know, whenever you get your WIC benefits, You got to go to the oppressor for everything, you know? And it's a damn shame, man. We got to deal with truths. We don't have time to play around in this place, man. The Bible says that this is not our rest. So for you to want to celebrate the 4th of July or your birthday, it makes me, I have a real disgust for the birthday celebration, man, because you know how we do. We go above and beyond. We put our zeal in anything. Right. And a brother celebrating his birthday, he'll celebrate his birthday for 30 days. It's a whole nother month. He's still celebrating his birthday. I saw some of the most disgusting things. You know, you give a brother a bag and he'll show you exactly who he is. Okay. When we talk about vanity and we talk about how destroyed we are because we haven't had, then we're going to live, you know, that's the opportunity when we do gain is to live in excess, to just pretty much squander that wealth. You don't make a real a good decision about, you know, investing or making that money grow. You want respite, you want relief. So you're going to spare no expense. You know what I'm saying? So you'll spend 30 days, you know, in the penthouse suite of some casino, which is a very selfish thing. Right. When your mama's still living in the goddamn projects. Imagine that's probably what, 30 bands. The ticket on that is ridiculous, I'm sure. Right. $1,000 a night. And you know you order a room service. That's added. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's more that you can do with that money. Right. Every time I make an investment, I ask myself, is this going to be perceived as a selfish investment? Is this going to be misconstrued as a very vain investment? There's nothing wrong with having nice things. Don't get me wrong, okay? But it ain't no reason for you to go out and get a $250,000 car just to drive it in front of brothers that can barely afford a hoopty, man. Right. It don't make sense. What kind of message are you sending? That you better than them? That you different because you got a bag? We don't learn the tenets of brotherhood because of Christianity, man. Our laws safeguard us from being vain, selfish, self-absorbed, self-involved individuals, man. You know? Where we at? Colossians 2:8.
Come on.
Keep reading, brother. Baba Kushah.
And vain deceit.
Right.
After the tradition of men.
After the tradition of men. Good night. What are some of those traditions of men? What is a tradition of men? You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead, brother. Voting is definitely a tradition of men. Voting is a tradition of our chief oppressor. You know what I'm saying? We talk about majority rules. You know that's a lie. We found that out because of the Electoral College, right? But was it in ancient Rome? You know, we talk about the masses and how there's strength in numbers. So the way they will vote, basically, you'd have one group of people and another group of people. All right, you put them in one spot, and then you present a topic. You have them vote on it, and those that raised their spears were those that were for the vote. They were voting for or against it. All right, but it was through the threat of violence. All right. That this whole voting system even came into play. And they make it seem like it's a very civilized tradition. It's a very civilized process. But how many voting scandals have we heard about in the last decade? Ballot boxes that have been, manipulated. Right. They have to issue a recount. Trump asked for a recount. Who else asked for Bush asked for a recount? You're talking about vain deceit, man. There is no truth in any of their traditions at all. You look at their holidays. Oh my goodness. Every last one of the holidays, I always talk about this. At the root of every holiday that's celebrated and held in high esteem by our oppressor is falsehood, mythology, nothing true. All right, go ahead, Officer Ayathan.
So like it, I was gonna add with that traditional men,
Right.
tradition of men, like we going into that right now. That spirit of after the tradition of men, like you starting to see the Christmas stuff pop up. You know what I'm saying? And
Already.
and following behind that spirit, that tradition of men will have you sitting on the corner after Christmas over, following that tradition, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they pushing that spirit on you so that you will follow that tradition, knowing that you ain't got the funds or the means to do so.
You damn right, brother. You right. They know you don't have the means, to really celebrate the holiday system that they establish, in the earth, and they want you to celebrate it. They teach your children, make a Christmas list. Right. That's very evil. You tell a child that is coming from abject poverty to make a Christmas list just so they can be disappointed every year. Zion, come on, brother. Salakia,
brother. I was just about to say, allowing our children to fill out these Christmas lists or this wish list that they have, this goes right into us envying the oppressor. Like you over years and years of indoctrination into this place that we call America, man. You develop a natural desire to want to be, just like the one that you see having a good time all the time.
That's right.
Because oftentimes you're stuck reminiscing on that rock'em sock'em robot that you never did get. You understand?
Right.
We always come up with that Knight Rider car or the nice looking car. And unfortunately in this empire, the only ones that we get a chance to see who really get what they want are drug dealers.
Right.
Are strippers.
Right.
Are pastors.
Right.
Are pimps. So here it is. It's like either I'm going to be some kind of sports figure or entertainer, or I'm going to be a pimp, stripper, drug dealer, or a preacher. The only gray area in there, a blue line that they call it, is you being a honorable man and joining being a man of the military. Right. You become a police officer. And that's Black, Hispanic, Native Indian.
That's right.
Everything else in between, you consider to be you're not successful.
Right.
You're stuck with the same goddamn list that you had at 12 years old, at 3 years old, your damn wish list, and you never get it. And now you 76, 86, 96 years old, dying, still hoping that one day somebody could give you something off that wish list. So here we are. We get a chance to see the oppressor enjoy his entire life. And they throw it in our faces from birth. You want to see somebody running on the beach and enjoying themselves? You got to turn on Baywatch. I ain't never seen no black lifeguard on Baywatch, y'all.
Good night.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. You don't want to see an old lady having a good time? You got to turn on Golden Girls. Huh? You want to see somebody in the bar that's not fighting one another? You got to turn on goddamn Cheers.
Right.
These are the examples that they often push. And then the only family that really that solidified success in America was Carl Winslow and somebody being a damn doctor. Unfortunately, our what was his name?
Uncle Phil.
Yeah, Uncle Phil. But
Cliff.
But these
the Huxtables.
But we understand for you to be a lawyer or a doctor, you have to be properly educated.
Right.
Brother, we dropping out by 9th grade. We done with the teacher. We skipping class by 19th grade.
Right.
And here we are looking at everybody else getting what they want, except for us, because we still stuck with that same damn wish list that they started indoctrinating us with when we was in the first or kindergarten grade. And you only write down the things that you know how to spell anyway. Car, house, clothes. Other than that, you don't know how to spell nothing else.
Right.
That's it. So lock you, brother. Go ahead and do your thing.
Look at that brother hand, man. Go ahead, Officer Ayathan. What's wrong with him?
So like, if I may, to add on, like, how you think your child gonna feel when they writing that Christmas list out? They excited when they writing it out. You know what I'm saying? and to only to give it to you, and you know the list gonna be long. God, you might as well forget about it if you got more than one child. You know what I'm saying? Like they gonna give you that list. They gonna be excited to think like, oh, I'm gonna get everything on this list because the mind of a child don't know what the parent going through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know they poor. You right? Or they don't know they oppressed. So like it. You know what I'm saying? So they gonna think they gonna get everything on this list, right? Imagine how that child gonna feel when that child go back around they little Caucasian friend,
Right.
and he asks, well, what you got off your list? I got everything off of my list.
Good night.
That same feeling that child feel when he say I ain't get nothing off my list, that's the same feeling that he feels when he hungry.
Right.
And nobody's giving him food.
That's right.
And them feelings, those are feelings that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians never want to experience. And so to keep from experiencing that feeling, they say, I'm going to take it.
That's right.
That's why you end up with people selling drugs.
That's
right.
That's
why you end up with people stealing.
Right.
You understand? Like killing. That's why that stuff happened, because we feel like nobody's going to give it to us. Screw it. I'm going to take it.
Right.
So lock it.
No, damn right. You in here tonight, huh? Most High in Christ. Brother rocking with me tonight, man. Is that it on that verse? Read it again from after, Baba Kushah.
Come on. After the rudiments of the world and not after Christ.
After the rudiments of the world. What is a rudiment? Let's get into the rudiments of the world, because that's the reason why we pulled up this Constitution, you know, the Bill of Rights. That would be an example of the rudiments of the world. Okay. It's a very, it should give you a basal understanding, an elementary understanding of the construct of America and its philosophy of organizational, direction, of its government. Go ahead, brother.
Rudiment. A basic principle or element or fundamental skill usually used in plural.
Right. Rudiments.
Something unformed.
Uh-huh. Something unformed.
It says a body part and an organ goes down a different
way. Right. So when you think about the constitution of our oppressor, it is a very rudimentary thing. I think about Sherlock Holmes, and he would always say it's rudimentary, my dear Watson. Meaning it's elementary. Like, this is a very simple thing. Yeah, it's elementary, keeping God's laws. Either you're going to be obedient or you're not. It's real simple, okay? But when we talk about the rudiments of the world, this is the reason why we pulled this Bill of Rights. Go ahead, brother.
We had some comments online. Brother Badar said, no damn good. Sister,
shout out to Trooper Quadar, man. That's my man, 100 grand.
Quadar. Sister Yakara said, Sister K said, baptizing, celebrating Columbus Day, Easter, and Halloween.
Most High, give her a hand, man. Somebody been teaching over there. Officer I.S.U.P.K been teaching over there.
That's Jake.
Yeah, Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ. She said baptizing, and what else?
Celebrate. She said baptizing, Columbus Day, Easter, and Halloween.
Yeah. I love the fact that Columbus Day came and went. Baba Kushah. It came and went. Salakia. Anybody give a damn about Columbus? He said the only Christopher we acknowledge is Wallace. You know what I'm saying? We won't even acknowledge him because he has his 10 crack commandments, It's a very disgusting and vile thing. But yeah, we're talking about the tradition of men after the rudiments of the world and not after who?
It's like, and not after Christ.
And not after Christ. See, you got to understand that Christ, Yahushua Mashiach, Jesus, what he did was he kept God's laws, man. Real simple and plain. I ain't gonna over talk it. You know what I'm saying? Christ kept God's laws. He didn't believe in this damn Constitution. Obviously, it's a different time period, but he would have never believed in this Constitution. He would have put his trust, his faith, his hope in the Father, man. And that's what you should do if you Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. All right. let's get back to the Bill of Rights real quick. So let's go to the First Amendment. Let's try to run through these real quick. It's 8:12. We got enough time.
All right.
Yeah, the Bill of Rights. Go down to the First Amendment. Just click on the First Amendment. You don't have to click on anything. It's already up.
Right here?
Yep, it's already up. Don't worry about it. Click on it again and just scroll down so we just see that. There you go. First Amendment.
All right. All right. First Amendment. Let's get it.
Yeah.
The First Amendment provides several rights, protections to express ideas through speech.
So what?
Express ideas through speech.
So the First Amendment says that you can just, it protects the right to express an idea. And we were just talking about, the brother brought up Kanye West, which is a perfect example. He just expressed an idea, going DEFCON 3 on all Jewish people, you know, which is not a bad thing. DEFCON 3, it sounds dubious. But can you pull that up? Pull that chart up. Pull the levels of awareness up or whatever for the U.S. government. Yeah, drop that, pull that up real quick, because he didn't say anything wrong. You should be on a level of alertness when you're dealing with an oppressor. You should have a certain level of just cognizance whenever you are dealing with anyone outside of your brother, man. You just should. There is safety in that. We do it anyway. I don't understand how them people got shot up in that church in South Carolina. We talking about Christianity rocking you to sleep.
Right.
Them people were absolutely asleep, believing in that false ideology, that vain deceit of believing that God loves everyone and that this bastard with a bowl cut is my brother. And Dylan Stern Roof, he curdled his bloodlust that night in that church. All because of this vain deceit, man. Go ahead, Officer Zion.
Salakia too. And we also got to give that church is definitely that place of vain deceit.
It damn sure is.
But that girl that having sex with 4 or 5 men and you still trying to have sex with her, and you get gonorrhea or syphilis or the crabs, you get an STD. Then guess what? You bought into the idea that guess what? She can have sex with as many men as she wants to.
Nice.
You understand?
Good night.
That's a vain deceit too. That think that you can do whatever that you want to do with your body, and ain't nothing gonna become of it. And you think that until you get burnt, and then you realize, and guess what? I can't have sex with everybody.
Right.
But if you were taught the truth about it, not something of vain deceit that the world offers, the truth is you ain't supposed to be out here running around building willy-nilly with every damn body.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
You cannot do that. And now the girls laughing at you because they call you Bumpy Johnson.
Right.
Huh? So those are oftentimes, you know, we know what that Christian church is, but what about the other decision that our people are making that are causing them to struggle and deal with pain and agony in this earth, man?
Right.
It's a lot of it. Our lives are filled with it, day in and day out. And the only people who are doing this is Commander Junior YAHANNA. He's teaching these truths.
That's right.
Bun Kayal, Kawal, Ayathan, the sisters online, all these sisters are fighting for this truth, man.
That's right.
We're learning what we're supposed to do with our spirits. We're learning what we're supposed to do with our body, and we're learning how to be in order when the rest of the world is going through turmoil right now.
That's right.
It's all over the globe. Everything is in disarray. So we are learning to deal with absolute truth, and oftentimes that truth hurt. And our people, we deal with that, man. Keep rocking, brother. Salak, I ain't mean to cut you off.
No, you cut me off. You 12, sir. Damn right. You're absolutely right. Dealing with those truths. You know, what comes to mind, you ever met somebody that had crabs? One of my closest homeboys caught the crabs. And it was ridiculous, man. I mean, you can't hide that. That's a real truth. You got to live with that. And you can't conceal that. You know, that's the type of God that we serve, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll make your conditions real to where you have to, you know, you got to go get it cleaned up, man. You got to go see Doc Schwartz. But he was in hell. My brother was in absolute hell, because he popped some whore that he shouldn't have popped. All right? We'll talk about it later. It's ridiculous. No, I said one of my closest homeboys. I ain't say my brother. He was a brother, but good night. You remember that? Lord have mercy, man. All right, so we talking about DEFCON 3. And so this is what Kanye West is getting ostracized for. This is what he's getting blackballed for. This is why his Twitter account, his Instagram or whatever got suspended for him making a comment about this. And it says DEFCON levels. You want to read that for him?
God, it's DEFCON levels. Condition, DEFCON 1, DEFCON 2, DEFCON 3, DEFCON 4, and 5. The condition is exercise term, readiness, and basic description. DEFCON 1 is cock pistol. Maximum readiness, nuclear war is imminent. DEFCON 2 is a fast pace. Armed forces with 6 hours or less to deploy and engage. It's near nuclear war at DEFCON 2.
So, this is the rudiment of the American government right now. This is what this is. This is their standard of readiness, if I'm not mistaken. This is how they deal with, threats and how they manage them on Fort Bragg. This is what they tell the people, right? This is what they tell y'all soldiers, right?
Pentagon level.
So Kanye West, he's a genius, but he just needs some focus. You know what I'm saying? He's a genius, but he ain't in the truth, so he's in the world. All right. He knows that he's at war, because if this is not a war tactic or war terms, he's understanding the terms of engagement right now. For him to say that, he's dealing with something. Kanye West is battling. He's battling the so-called oppressor. I'll just say that. Because when you say that J word, they're going to clip the stream. I don't want to lose this page. You know what I'm saying? Salakia. Zion like, hey, chill. Salakia. So what did he say? What threat level did he acknowledge?
DEFCON 3, which is roundhouse.
Is that on? Is your mic on? There you go.
DEFCON 3, which is roundhouse, maximum air force, 15 minutes to mobilization. Force readiness increased above the normal levels.
Oh, so now he's aware now. Something has happened that has prompted him to have an awareness or a level of readiness. He said roundhouse. Good night. I can only imagine what he deals with on a day-to-day basis, rubbing shoulders with people that have billions. I mean, they got money, they got life-changing money. They can give you 100,000 and they can change your condition overnight. So he's dealing with these people every day. And for him to make a statement like that, it's a very powerful thing, man. He is revealing who that man of perdition is. He really is. And what's so crazy about it is that before he came under fire for wearing the White Lives Matter t-shirt, let me tell you how strategic that is, because he's not dismissing the fact that white lives matter. Okay. Here, we don't give a damn. We hate what God hates in here. Right. All right. He need to come sit in one of these classes and learn about, Jacob and Esau. He needs to come sit in one of these classes and learn about, who the Most High loves and who the Most High hates. All right. And where we should give our love, who we should give our love to. And he'd be far better off. All right. He would continue to be striving to seek love from the oppressor. Okay. But he's basically, and this is mid-level though. This isn't like DEFCON what? This isn't DEFCON 5, man. This isn't max awareness, but me being a priest and prophet in the I.S.U.P.K, you need to be at DEFCON 5 when you're dealing with the oppressor.
You need to be at about 3 and 4.
Because if you're at 5, you being emotional?
No. It's a fade out. It's a normal state. It's a lowest state. 5 is the intel watching increased security.
I'm on DEFCON 5. You might be on DEFCON 3, but me, I'm on DEFCON 5. I'm ready to go to war.
Well, according to the chart.
Oh, okay.
According to the chart, that's just the Pentagon, how they interact with, communicate with the generals or whoever the Sergeant Major Army or Marines or Colonel 4-star, whoever it is.
Okay.
The levels of threat.
Oh, it's not. No, it is not normal. So I'm wrong. Salakia.
No, it just says above
I stand
normal.
corrected.
Above normal, then normal. It just goes to fade out. It's just like increased. You see, it's like a increase from conditions all the way to 5. But it's just military bull crap that goes out the window when somebody really shoots a rocket over here. It's gonna stay. You know what I'm saying?
4.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be ready.
I'm on
to go.
DEFCON 4 personally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm at a heightened level of awareness.
There you go.
Above normal. There's nothing normal about dealing with the oppressor.
Security measures are strengthened.
Right. It's a lot.
Most High in Christ.
It's a lot. If I may, like,
go ahead, brother.
They've been on DEFCON 4, with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians for over 400 years. You understand? Like it's been a kill on sight. You understand? Oh, you fit the description. It's KOA.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you dying.
Right.
You understand? Like it ain't no questions about it. They are armed and ready to fire at any black, Hispanic, and Native Indian that they come across.
Right.
Whether they law enforcement, military, anything. You can be a regular civilian. You understand? Parking in a damn handicap parking spot in Florida and lose your life.
Right.
You understand? And they're gonna say, "Oh, stand your ground."
Right. That's what they're gonna tell you. That's what they're gonna tell you. I got another article about that Mississippi black teen. I just sent it to you. He got shot in the head by the police. How old was that brother? Like 14? Yeah, don't worry about it. You got to go into it, because we need to go through these damn amendments. But this is still happening to us. Our children are still getting slaughtered in the streets by adults, man. This is a nation that has no regard for the old or the young, is what the Bible says. This is what I teach my children. This is what I teach my son. I let him know that he's behind enemy lines every morning. So he needs to be aware. He needs to be on DEFCON 3 level awareness. He needs to, because this ain't our rest. I don't want to be reading about my son. I don't want to be sitting in some damn courtroom behind my son getting murdered at the hands of some devil. Right. What a waste. What an absolute waste, man. That's true destruction, man. We're destroyed because we're joined to America, man. And we've let our guard down. The I.S.U.P.K is letting you know to put your hands up, man. So you know the punch is coming. You know the punch is coming. Put your guard up. Put your hands up. All right? Let's go down. Let's finish with the First Amendment. I know we all over the place. Let's refocus. So the right to express ideas.
The First Amendment provides several rights, protections to express ideas through speech and the press, to assemble or gather with a group to protest or other reasons.
So this is what the priests and prophets in the I.S.U.P.K do every Sabbath. Not only do we have a holy convocation every Sabbath through the Sabbath service, reading out of the Torah, we go out into the streets as the prophets of old did. We stand on the podium of wood and we prophesy unto the wind, man. We prophesy unto dry bones. We prophesy unto our people to raise them up from the low state, the low conditions that they're in. We're the ones that's telling you to put down the cigarettes, to put down the drugs, to stop being whores and whoremongers. We're the ones that's telling you to stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. We're the ones that's telling you to separate your spirit from America. Stop celebrating your birthday. Stop celebrating their holidays. Your pastor's not telling you to do any of these things. In fact, he's promoting these things. He's letting you know it's okay to celebrate your birthday. It's okay for you to put a Christmas tree up in the fellowship hall. Matter of fact, I want a couple Christmas trees in the sanctuary. Right. You got green and red. You got all sorts of it's a stupid plant that they have around Christmas time. Oh man, I can't even think about it. No. Mistletoe. You got a freak in the room. The brother said mistletoe. none of poinsettias. Good night. You got poinsettias. You got red and green all over the sanctuary, man. It's a ridiculous thing, you know. In the I.S.U.P.K, you ain't gonna worry about decorating no Christmas tree, because we know that that's a very satanic thing, and we don't envy our oppressor. We don't celebrate his customs, man. Right. Go ahead, Officer Ayathon. Salakia.
Salakia.
What is that mistletoe? Threw me all the way off. Good night.
I'm gonna say right now, like it's gonna be a story that's gonna break about a pastor asking for a Christmas gift. Y'all heard it here first. Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. He ain't gonna get the gift he wants.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, Officer, shout out to Officer Quadam. You know what I'm saying? My brother was like, he was real hurt by that pastor saying broke, busted, and disgusted. Right. Over a damn Movado watch. You know what I'm saying? Broke, busted, and disgusted. He said, that's how you talk to your congregation? And that's ridiculous, man. You'll never be talked to like that in here, all right? That's a brother that's in a wrong spirit. That's a brother that's in the spirit of envying the oppressor, man. You know, in here, we are taught the tenets of brotherhood. We're taught to love one another. We're taught to love our brother like we love ourselves. Some of us even go the extra mile of loving brothers more than they love themselves, making sacrifices, man. Very selfless sacrifices. You know, the Most High Christ said that. All right. So we talked about the freedom of speech. And this is what I find very interesting. In America, if you Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, you do not have the right to speak freely. Especially, you know, the higher positions that you may attain in the earth. So you work for a Fortune 500 company. You might be the face of a company. You know, you're going to be very mindful about what you say or the things that you say, how they're perceived. You're going to be very reluctant to go and protest. You're going to think twice about going to camp. You're not trying to come to camp because you might see your boss at your job. You might see one of your coworkers. And all you're doing is reading out of the Bible now. And this is a right that's protected by the First Amendment to be able to express an idea. So this lets me know that we are in captivity in this place. This lets me know that America is nothing more than a big corporation and you are its employee. And there's certain rules of conduct that you must abide by in order to continue to get that almighty dollar, man, or get cut off and lose that opportunity to be able to feed and clothe yourself, man. Drop down to the Second Amendment, man. Baba Kushab.
The Second Amendment protects the right to keep and bear arms.
You know, if you're a felon, you can't bear arms. You can't keep nor bear arms in America. You know, if you break one of their federal laws, you get that F on your record, which is literally like a scarlet letter. You know, shout out to Nathaniel Hawthorne, that devil. You know what I'm saying? But that's literally, you know, it keeps you from being able to exercise this right, this civil right, for you to be able to protect yourself. Imagine if you had a rib and some kids, right, and you decide you want to travel, and you don't have a means to even protect yourself if you needed to, outside of the fisticuffs. Come on, man. Nobody is shooting a fair one these days. So you mean to tell me in the spirit of the gun, this is the era of the gun, man. I seen a video on Instagram the other day, Chicago, which is so crazy. It was Switch City. Every Glock had a switch on it, different color switches, red switches, gold switches. I said, good night. I want to switch, but, you know, lawfully, you know what I'm saying? I put my tax stamp in and go ahead and try to get one. But them brothers got switches, every Glock that they put in front of the camera. And I said, man, this is so wild. We hell-bent on destroying each other. You know that switch is going to be used not to go hunting, not to defend yourself, but to kill a brother, man. To actively kill your brother. That's what that switch is going to be used for. And you know what's going to reinforce the idea is those rappers that's rapping about those switches. Why is that rapper able to rap about a goddamn switch on a Glock, which is a very fine piece of machinery? Why is he able to do that? Who is promoting? Who is pushing this line in the earth? What record company does he rap for? Who owns that record company? See, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we got to learn how to follow the money. We got to learn how to follow the goddamn money so we can get to the root of our problems. We can get to the root of our oppression. We can get to the root of our destruction. What else? Drop down to the Third Amendment, Baba Kushah.
The Third Amendment prevents governments from forcing homeowners to allow soldiers to use their homes.
Okay, so you got to understand, like during the times of war, according to history, the U.S. government would do this thing called quartering. So if a soldier, if they needed to use your house because strategically it worked for refuge or for whatever reason, the government does not have the right to nationalization, okay, to commandeer your personal private property. All right. So this reinforces the idea that the things that you own matter. All right. You know where we were in 1776 when this document was drafted. We were in the fields. We were that property. We were that property. We were owned by some bastard cutting his sugar cane, cultivating his Carolina red long grain rice, brewing his gin in his distilleries, man. That's what we were doing. So you can understand why, white nationalists feel some type of way about the Constitution. They feel some type of way about Abraham Lincoln. You ever look at a penny? Line a penny up next to a quarter, a dime, a nickel, and then put that penny down. He's the only one facing the opposite direction. You know what they say he's facing the opposite direction? Because he turned his back on his brothers by emancipating or freeing the slaves. That's what I heard. You don't got to believe what I say. You know what I'm saying? But biblically, you better pay attention to what the hell I'm saying. I'm teaching you, thus saith the Lord, man. Drop down to the Fourth Amendment.
The Fourth Amendment bars the government from unreasonable search and seizure.
Well, you ever heard of stop and frisk? You ever heard of stop and frisk? If you live in New York or any of those northeastern urban areas, stop and frisk was a real thing. Giuliani, he was an advocate for the stop and frisk. Only reason why I know about it is because Jiggo talked about it. Right. Jay talked about stop and frisk, but I didn't know that's how it was up there. At any given moment, you can be stopped and frisked, which would be deemed an illegal search and seizure. But it says unreasonable. Unreasonable. So it's really interesting when you hear these terms, you look at these terms. What is unreasonable? It's very vague.
Right.
I could have any reason of suspicion to check you. You are a white boy trying to come into a black church. That is that's reasonable suspicion. I should be very aware of what the hell it is that you're doing here. What do you want? Right. Go ahead, brother.
And that's always left up to the interpretation of the police officer.
Right.
Or the government official or whoever is supposed to be about attempting to infringe on your rights.
Right.
I have reasonable doubt that I smelled weed, so I had reasonable doubt there was a weapon in the car.
Right.
Or drugs in the car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This guy was walking, in this neighborhood at 3 a.m., the only black guy in a white suburb, reasonable doubt that he's about to do something. It's like George Zimmerman thought he had reasonable doubt to stop Trayvon Martin. And all he had was Skittles and an iced tea. So, unreasonable search and seizure that unreasonable. Like, who's to tell you what's unreasonable and what's reasonable?
It's all based
Our
off of
oppressor
perception.
perception.
Right.
Our oppressor don't know what's unreasonable. They shoot a person who's unarmed 50 times. That's unreasonable as hell.
Right.
So what the hell they know about reason?
Right.
They need to take a class in reason.
You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. You know, it says not governed by or acting according to reason. You know, we live in hell as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So our rationale is going to be completely different from someone that is eating off the hog, living in the lap of luxury. You know, he can spare no expense for anything that he wants. His level of rationale is going to be completely different than yours. Your decision making is based off of survival. His is based off of luxury. It's two totally different. You live in two totally different worlds. We talk about divisions of men. That's how we define what world is. Ages of society, divisions of men. So there's a black world and there's a white world. What that there was a show, A Different World. Remember that? Right. It was a different world. Right. They were showing black people that there was a better way. Apparently, if you just pursue your education, you go to college and everything is going to be all peaches and cream for you, you know. But those of us that have been to college know that that's a goddamn lie. It's not guaranteed. All right. Drop that. Let's go down to the Fifth Amendment. Let's get through these amendments real quick. Go into some precepts.
The Fifth Amendment provides several protections for people accused of crimes. It states that serious criminal charges must be started by a grand jury. A person cannot be tried twice for the same offense.
Right.
That's double jeopardy.
Right.
Or have property taken away without just compensation. People have the right against self-incrimination and cannot be imprisoned without due process of law, which is fair procedures and trials.
So that's really, really interesting. There we go again. There's an underlying theme here. They talk about property. Think about when this document was drafted, who was property, who was deemed property. They still look at you in that light. If you work for a corporation, the brothers conduct themselves like they're owned by massa. They're working these corporations. And they'll be very reluctant to speak their mind. When we went to the Juneteenth festival, we had questions that we were asking brothers about Juneteenth. Does Juneteenth change the status of black people here in America? As soon as the cameras came out, put a camera in a coon's face, that'll keep him real honest. Oh, no. I don't consent to, being recorded, brother.
Right.
So now you don't want me to record you, but I'm supposed to believe anything that comes out of your goddamn mouth now. Salakia. I'm supposed to believe anything that comes out of your filthy mouth now. Man, keep going. We talk about double jeopardy. You can't be tried for the same crime twice, right? Like OJ, he couldn't be tried for murder of Nicole Brown and what's the devil that he killed? Well, Salakia. And Nicole Brown and then the other dude that they claimed or accused him of killing. We talk about unjust seizures, that happens all the time of personal property. If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, you're not supposed to have property. Ron Goldman, that's right. Good night. Blast from the past.
It's a lot.
Go ahead, brother.
It's a lot. So just to add to what you were saying, like you Black, Hispanic, Native Indian, you're not supposed to have property. You understand? Like because you are property.
Yeah, right.
You are property. So it doesn't matter to you. Like they don't think about that. Right. You understand? Because you are their property.
Right. Brother. Shocker. I yield. This is a mic drop. You're absolutely right, man. Right. You know what comes to mind is that movie Rosewood, Don Cheadle. We know about the Rosewood, what I'm saying, the race riot basically that happened down there. And I remember that one of the people from the mob came into his house and Don Cheadle was nice on the piano, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, this nigga got a piano. Right. And they're looking at like, how does this Negro living in the slums of Rosewood have a piano in his house? And then one of the other, one of his partners was like, well, do you play the piano? And she's like, no, I don't play the piano. But just the fact that this Negro has a piano in his home, this is ridiculous. It goes against their belief system, man. That's so heavy that he said that.
And Salakia, that goes to show you that there was no way you can be the child of the Most High. There's no way you can believe you should be an Israelite, right? Because you're not supposed to have anything. You understand? You're ain't no way you can be a Jew. Because you ain't supposed to have no piano in here. Mm-hmm. You understand? The scriptures say the Lord made the earth for our sakes.
That's right. That's right.
But you ain't supposed to have a piano because you're in servitude, and that's how they treat us. You understand?
Good night.
That's exactly that's the mindset. You don't need a good educational system for what? Yeah. Well, what you need to know how to balance a checkbook for? Yeah. For what?
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Well, what you need a Maybach for? That Honda Civic, that Honda Accord will do you just fine. You just need something to get you from what? A to B. Ain't that what they tell us?
Right. Good night. The bare minimum. They want you to have a subpar existence because you're subhuman. Think about the Liver King. He's always like primal, subprimal. So when he looks at blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, he thinks that they are subprimal. They're literally beneath him. That's what the oppressor believes about us. This is the reason why they withhold the things necessary for life from us. Okay, let's go down to the Sixth Amendment, man.
The Sixth Amendment. The Sixth Amendment provides additional protections to people accused of crimes.
Hold on. I'm looking at this Fifth Amendment. No imprisonment without due process of law, like fair procedures and trials. How many brothers are in locked up in the jailhouse right now? They were never read their Miranda rights. How many brothers, got their door kicked in and there was no real warrant, just off of reasonable suspicion? You know what I'm saying? Your rights are infringed upon here in America if you're Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian every single day. And it's been that way. And it's going to continue to be that way. I don't give a damn who's in the office, whether it be a Democrat or a Republican. They want you to, they say, oh, it don't matter, by the time you get to the major elections. What really matters is if you vote in your local elections. What really matters is who you put on the city council, who you vote into to position of sheriff, who you vote into to the position of your mayor. That don't help at all because they all going to give you this false dialogue. They believe in the same thing. Go ahead, brother.
They are, even local level is dumb. That's how they get to upper levels and are dumb. You didn't just get dumb at upper level. You was dumb at the lower level, but you won the people over through your local, you found out what the schools needed or what was PTA with you, a crossing guard, or cement issues. You were still dumb. You had no intention of helping Blacks, Hispanics, and American Indians. Even so-called oppressors don't get help.
Right.
When it comes to little things like that in their communities, what I'm saying is you need to get stupid when you got upper level, positions.
Right.
Like your governors and your parliament and all that stuff. What comes to mind is when we went downtown and we spoke to some of our local leaders during voting time last year, and some of the ex-judges and high-profile figures in the community, and they have no clue at all what's best for Blacks, Hispanics, and American Indians.
Right.
It's all, and they're in their 80s, 70s. Like it's just so saddening to know that people still want to vote, and it does absolutely nothing for your condition.
That's right.
At all.
That's
Chinese man don't vote. He has Chinatown.
Right.
He's open on Christmas. he has an anti-Asian hate bill passed in 2 weeks.
Right.
He don't vote.
Right.
So what does that say for us?
No,
why we can't be the same?
You get that brother a hand. No, you're right about that. He is open on Christmas. What is it, a Christmas Story? A Christmas Carol? They went and got Peking duck. Because Moab was open. The dogs got to the turkey. Remember that? Right. They put the truth in your face, man. Rub it in your face. And they want you, what are you going to do about it? What you going to do about it? They know you're not going to do that other thing. I say you call that bluff. I say you come in here, get in all black, and change your goddamn life, man. Go ahead, Officer Zion. Salakia, sir. Oh, Salakia. Officer Ayathan. Right.
So he don't have to deal with the Christmas and Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got to worry about that. But let you mess around and say, well, I don't celebrate that. What's wrong with you?
Right.
They never asked Moab, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They never asked him, why you don't celebrate it?
That's a damn shame. But they put you through the ringer when you say you don't.
Right.
Like, boy, what you trying to say? You know, me celebrate like you got a better way? Right. How dare you think that you know a better way of how to spend your time, you know, at the height of this season? Right. How you not in the Christmas spirit? How you don't have the holiday spirit? Because I got the Holy Spirit. That's how. That's right. I'm serving the Lord in spirit and in truth. That's right. I ain't walking around here like some shade-faced coon. You looking at me and wondering, how the hell does this brother who left the gate open? Right. That's how my coworkers look at me. Lord be with them. You know what I'm saying? Lord be with them. It is what it is. All I can do is be an example for them, you know. But whatever. Where we at? The Sixth Amendment?
With the end of the Sixth Amendment, it says, in criminal cases and to be informed of criminal charges, witnesses must face the accused, and the accused is allowed his or her own witnesses and to be represented by a lawyer.
That's what you were talking about the other day, Officer Zion. It's so heavy, you know what I'm saying? You in good company if you in here, man. You'll learn something new.
That's right.
If you in the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General YAHANNA.
That's right.
You know, the brother was talking about the Sixth Amendment.
Right.
Unbeknownst to me, you gotta face your accusers. Mm-hmm. This is heavy because they say that the Constitution was drafted based off of the influence of the Bible and biblical precepts.
It was.
When you talk about Christ teaching you to go to him and him alone, you know what I'm saying? So you know off gate, you in the council. This the brother that's accusing you of being out of pocket, right, or violating via an ought. Right. Go ahead, brother.
And that's so heavy too, because it's a law like you cannot bear false witness. You can't bear false witness in Esau's court either.
That's right.
Where do you think he got that from?
Right.
He's not a law-abiding human.
Right.
The Bible likens him as a beast. He's not even considered a human. But you can't bear false witness in the court system.
Right.
You can't do perjury. You can't lie on the stand.
That's right.
You can't say this person saw that and didn't. They got that from the Bible.
Right.
So where do these stinking Christian pastors get off saying the law's done away with? They're worse sometimes than the devil, if that's even a thing.
Right.
Like you're just a scum of the earth.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? This Constitution was written for the so-called oppressor. They had the Bible. You know what I'm saying? They were the original Christians and all that, but they didn't have the Spirit of the Lord. And that stuff, these amendments and all this we're reading now does not apply to Leroy and Tyrone on the block. It don't apply to us.
That's damn right. You're absolutely right about that. It doesn't apply to you if you Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. You know, all class we've been going over the Bill of Rights, the rights that they say that you have because you're an American citizen. You don't. We've disproven every amendment up through the 6th. Let's go to the 7th.
The 7th Amendment extends the right to a jury trial in federal civil cases.
Yeah, you get a Fed case for what? Hold and wait? A jury trial. You know, I sat in on a jury, you know, and I thought that was really, really interesting because doing jury duty, I tried my hardest to get out of jury duty, brother. I made sure I had my hair braided in the most ratchet style, you know, that Esau would deem ratchet. I went in there and I had my shield, you know what I'm saying? My shield bold as day. I had it on my chest, and I'm in there like the state is not going to accept me as being a juror just based off of presentation. Right. But they was like, nah, we want you, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Some examples of civil, it could be confusing to some. These are some examples of federal civil cases. It says some of these civil disputes that could be filed in federal courts are suing for civil rights violations or discrimination, suing for First Amendment violations of free speech, free expression, or freedom of religion,
Right.
suing people for a loss of their cause that they are from another state. These are examples of this Seventh Amendment, why this is enacted.
Right.
So you try to take somebody's right from speaking on, the truth, or similar, or like it just said, for Benjamin Crump he lives in this domain.
Yes, he does.
Benjamin Crump and Rep. Bessie Dempsey, Al Sharpton, they lived in this domain right here.
That's right.
Through the Seventh Amendment. But go, Slock it.
No. I'm glad you said that, because it brings me back to my next point we were talking about the other day. If you in the truth, I believe that we have a religious liberties letter, right, that you can give to your employer so you can get your slave off on the Sabbath. Right. You shouldn't feel ashamed or afraid of being able to go out and exercise your right of free speech just to read out of the Bible, man. The Southern Poverty Law Center says that we are a hate group. But how are we in leagues with the Ku Klux Klan? We ain't bombed any churches. We ain't burned no crosses in anybody's yard. Go ahead, brother.
You so heavy bringing it out too, and I'll raise you. I'm a prime example of that. Every slave year I had, I've never had to work on Saturday, right, because of the religious liberties letter I got from the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Right.
Took it to my job. They said, well, we have to abide by this guy's religion.
That's right.
And guess what they deem Seventh-day Adventists as? A cult. They're not an SPLC because their leaders are white, but Seventh-day Adventists in every religious book are deemed as a cult because of their fundamental beliefs, their 28 fundamental beliefs. Right. So they don't fall in under the regular Christian dogma. But that's one way. If you're an Orthodox Jew, if you're a Negro, and you, especially here, you could get off your slavery on Saturday. Easily. Just tell them I'll work every Sunday if you need me to. Right. But this is my religion. They have to abide by it. I'm almost 40 years old. Every slavery I had, right, and people know me. Listen, I didn't have to work Saturdays, right, and they never figured it out until I showed them the letter. They're like, dang, dog, I had niggas that one even said, let me get one of them. I'm like, nah, bro, you gonna make it hot. A Negro make it hot on the job. And everybody got one. Nah, you can't get one. Right. But I didn't have to work Saturdays. If I ever worked a slavery on Saturday because I wanted to get overtime or something, but I wasn't in here doing that. But yeah, you definitely get Saturday off. I don't want to hear that. Easy work. Easy. You just got to put a little bit of, religious liberties letter. That's it. To your boss. They're afraid of that. That's Seventh Amendment work right there. They don't want no parts of that. They see you come with that letter. I don't want to get sued. Give them off Saturday. That's right. Somebody else come down and work for them. That's right. That's it. Most High. Get that brother a hand. Yes, Lord. Yeah, we're going to get that. Next council, we're going to ask about that next council. Yeah. Spread it out throughout Israel. All of Israel get off on the Sabbath. So you can come to the Sabbath service. Yeah, it'll work for school. Why couldn't it? It's the weekend. They teach class Monday through Friday, unless you're taking a Saturday class. Like, yeah, I feel you on the program. I know. But they stepping on your religious liberty, freedom, your right to be able to. Salakia. Let's get to these amendments. Come on, brother. We got 5 minutes. Salakia, the 8th Amendment. Let's go there. Salakia. The 8th Amendment bars excessive bail and fines and cruel and unusual punishment. Good night. Cruel and unusual punishment. The electric chair. George Stinney. Sandra Bland, that was cruel and unusual. But I'm still trying to wrap my head around, somebody, putting an electrical charge through a human being until they die. That is very cruel and unusual. Freddie Gray. Oh, man, they broke his neck in the paddy wagon. They driving all reckless. They had his hands handcuffed, and they driving all stupid through the streets of Baltimore. Your brother broke his neck, man. They didn't put him in a seatbelt. It's a damn shame, man. That's cruel and unusual. That's very cruel. See, the thing about being in this school, who? Randy Cox. Who was that? The Benjamin Crump came down there because they had put that brother. I want to say he was in the back of the paddy wagon. He broke his neck. He had a video for it. Oh man! And it says a black man paralyzed with broken neck after police van driver suddenly brakes. Good night. It's terrible. It's terrible. We talk about excessive bail. Go ahead, Officer Ayathan.
So, just to add,
we're going over tonight.
Like, where do we begin? You know what I'm saying? Like, where do we begin and where does it end?
Right.
You understand? Like, we can go down the list all night of cruel and unusual punishments, deaths, or whatever the hell you want to call it, of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We got a list of them, and the I.S.U.P.K remembers them all. I guarantee you the I.S.U.P.K remembers them all. You understand? We got George Floyd, Sandra Bland, Walter Scott, Trayvon Martin. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. All of them are cruel and unusual deaths.
Right.
It's all cruel and unusual punishments. That's just what it is. You understand? And the only thing I can say is we don't know what it is because we don't know who we really dealing with. We think we dealing with the oppressor. We dealing with the Most High, man, and these curses that's in this Bible.
That's right.
That's who's doing it.
Right.
Yes, the Caucasian is in charge of it. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. I'm not trying to save him from anything that he has coming to him. You understand? But if you turn back to the Most High, all this could end overnight.
That's right. Damn right. You stop dropping mics in my class, brother. Right. All right. Give me Deuteronomy 30 and 15. What we at? 9 or 8? Go ahead. Let's get this 9th one.
The 9th Amendment states that listing specific rights in the Constitution does not mean that people do not have other rights that have not been spelled out.
Right. Yeah, I like that one. Because the Constitution is not the end all be it with regard to your rights as a human being. It's just a document. Okay. So it's crazy because it kind of dismisses, its validity with this amendment. All right. Go down to the 10th.
The 10th Amendment says that the federal government only has the powers delegated in the Constitution. If it isn't listed, it belongs to the states or to the people.
That's right. So we get federal rights and we get states' rights. That's why, you can go to Colorado and you can smoke weed, but not North Carolina because it's not decriminalized according to state law. Okay, that's why you can have a bump stock or whatever in a certain state and you can't here. Like you can open carry your firearm in North Carolina, but don't try to do it in New York. Don't try to do it in Washington, D.C. All right, you're going to be held accountable. Okay, and it behoove you to learn these laws. All right, you cannot be foolish enough to think that you can move the way that Esau moves freely in his kingdoms. All right, you got to learn the rules of engagement. All right, and we're held to that standard being Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. These rules don't apply to you. All right, you got to go above and beyond. All right, give me Deuteronomy 30 and 15, Baba Kusha.
Okay. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 15.
Right.
See, I have set before thee this day life and good and death and evil.
See, this is real heavy because in Deuteronomy, this is Moses' book, right? And the Most High is saying, I have set before you this day life and good and death and evil.
Sorry.
What is a life and good? What is it? It can't be this Constitution. Right. It can't be envying the oppressor and choosing any of the ways of the oppressor. It can't be believing a goddamn lie. It can't be. It has to be, thus saith the Lord. This is what's going to set you apart from everyone else, man.
Right.
We talked about the laws earlier being our identity. You have to take this identity and apply it to your life. You have to. There's no 52 faking with the Lord. There is no gray area with the Lord. Either you are or you aren't. Keep reading.
Come, verse 16. In that I command thee this day to love the Most High thy power.
He says, I command thee, meaning this is an order. Orders are to be followed. If you don't follow an order, what happens? What happens if you don't follow an order? You can't be a conscientious dissenter when it comes down to the Most High power, man. And that I command thee this day to what?
I command you this day to love the Most High thy power.
Hey, how are you loving the Lord? If you're in a Christian church, you don't love the Lord. You hate the Lord if you're in a Christian church.
Mm-hmm.
How you loving the Lord? You stuck in Islam. You striving to be a Buddhist. You charging crystals. You taking your shoes off just to walk outside barefoot, getting grounded. You in love with the earth. You don't love the Lord. Keep reading.
Come on. To walk in his ways.
The way that you show that you love the Lord is by keeping his law, statutes, and commandments, man. You have to learn how to walk in his ways. Nowhere on the earth is the Lord's ways being expounded upon beyond the I.S.U.P.K under command of General YAHANNA.
Right.
No one is teaching you to do these things. It's ridiculous, man. And to do what?
And to keep his commandments.
And to keep his commandments. Go ahead, Salakia.
And to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments.
And we got to keep these commandments. In the Christian church, you learn to throw these commandments away. Mm-hmm. You believe that the commandments, the law, the statutes were nailed to the cross with Christ. And that's a lie. That's a lie straight from the pits of hell, man. This law is forever. This law is perpetual. You have to learn how to embrace keeping God's laws, man. And you don't have a say in the matter. Either you will or you won't. I said it here earlier. You could choose life or you could choose death, man. Not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments is evil.
That's right.
Meaning that you're morally bad or wicked. That is a definition of the word evil. Keep reading, brother. Salakia.
Come on. That thou mayest live.
That thou mayest die.
Live.
That thou mayest just survive.
Live.
Scratching and surviving.
Live.
Thou mayest live.
And multiply.
And multiply. How many seeds you got? 4, 5. How many you got? 4, 5, 6. How many you got? We are multiplying upon the earth. Why? Because we're keeping God's commandments, man. It's the only way. We're not sending our rib down to the Planned Parenthood. We're not doing that. We don't believe in abortion. We pro-life. This is why we're choosing to keep God's law, statutes, and commandments. Keep reading.
Come. And the Most High thy power shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess.
The Most High, our power, being blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, no one else's power. He ain't fighting for the other nations. He's fighting for you, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, woman, and child. You have to learn how to be obedient. Choose life. Stop choosing death. Believing in this Constitution, you're going to die. These rules do not apply to you. Learn how to serve the Lord, man. The only way you're going to do that is by getting into the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA, man. That's my time. I'm Priest and Officer Bankayal. This is the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. If you're not in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA, you are not in the truth. I'm going to pass the class off to Priest and Officer of 1,000, Kawal Yahweh. Here you go, man.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We at I.S.U.P.K start at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. New rule for brother and sister. When new brother or sister comes to the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister.
Right.
There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18 and 21, and Malachi 3, 8 through 10 means 10th in Hebrew. It's pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you like to give. Upcoming holy convocation, we're in the Feast of Tabernacles. You can find this in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 33 through 44. The Sunday sundown, the 17th is the closing, which is Monday, October 17th is sundown. I believe Commander YAHANNA is going to be holding that down, if I'm not mistaken, for the nation. So get with your camp leaders, figure out we're going to, how that's going to roll. Also, too, they got the Dirty South Cookout in Houston, Texas, which is not a holy convocation, but it is to support our schools, support our people. If you can make it down to Houston, Texas, by all means, get it on, man. Do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, subscribe all the videos. Black Watch, Ask You the Prophets, Buddha for Shut Up, Chainbreakers Podcast. The brothers on the West Coast, I forget their, you know what I'm saying? But like, share, subscribe on YouTube. Help spread this truth, man. Support each other. Also on Clubhouse, big shout out to Captain Cesario, all the brothers is on Clubhouse and some of the sisters on Clubhouse, man. You know what I'm saying? Hanging tough. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pant, headband, and scarf. With that, Amadium, men of Israel, we're going to render one courteous salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amadium Shabbat. Amadium, Barak, Yahweh, Shemi, Sorry, turn for your sisters. Men of Israel, one courteous salute to the sisters online. Men of Israel, Amadium Shabbat. Amadium, Barak, Yahweh, class dismissed.